Hey everyone, welcome to Neil Talks. My name's Neil and it's time to talk ANDOR. And guys, we need to talk more about last episode. Last episode, the more I think about it, the more special it becomes. We may have witnessed one of the best television monologues of the last generation in that episode. True monologues, Luthen's speech at the end. The episode as a whole, I feel, has elevated the entire Star Wars universe. We've examined the rebellion before, but I don't think we've ever felt the weight of what it means to rebel against such an unstoppable force as the Empire. It's never been properly translated to us, the audience, before, I don't think. When we were first introduced to the rebellion, 1977, A New Hope, Luke came late to the party. The rebellion was already established. They had a fleet. There were hundreds of people already involved. And Luke just joins for the last big fight, and he's the one that manages to pull it off. But he, and therefore we, because we've been following his story, never knew the cost, never knew the challenge, have only known victory. And we've started to remedy that over the years. We did Rebels, the cartoon, but it's a cartoon. It's primarily for kids. It's lighter, even though our team of Rebels is constantly facing challenges and threats, pulling themselves out of scrapes. Not until the very end is there a sense that they're actually risking their lives, and beyond that, they aren't risking anything else other than their lives. And what do I mean by that? I think it was really finally spelled out for us, something that Andor has been hinting at since it started, is that if you're going to be a rebel in this cause, you need to make sacrifices. If there's something that you believe in as strongly as overthrowing the Empire, you will need to make sacrifices along the way. And what sacrifices are you comfortable with? What sacrifices are you willing to make? And we've been dealing with that question all series, whether it's sacrificing your loved ones, whether it's sacrificing the chance at a relationship with somebody that you love, whether it's would you marry off your daughter to secure funding so that the rebellion can still have cash in the bank. How many rebel lives are you willing to sacrifice to preserve your mole within the ISB? All of these sorts of questions, and they've never been so well summed up as in Luthen's speech, and just 15 minutes earlier, Kino's speech on the intercoms at the prison in Narkina 5. And I realized as I was editing that last episode, episode 10, that Kino's story is much more tragic than is obvious at first glance. You get flown into Narkina 5. You see the situation of the prison you're in. It's in the middle of a vast lake or ocean. There is a shore visible, but it's a long ways off. And if you can't swim, you know you're never getting off that prison unless you serve your time. And so that's what Kino has focused on. Serving his days, serving his shifts, keeping his head down, staying out of trouble. He's going to get out of here the only way. There's only one way. There's one way out. And the only way out for Kino is serving his days, until we find out at the very end of episode 9 that that's not getting you out. You're never getting out alive. So now the only way out for a man like Kino, who can't swim, he knows he can't swim. His only way out is death. He even says it when he's rallying 5-2D before they go off on their final shift together. he already considers himself a dead man. He knows he's not getting out of this prison. And yet he still decides to rally his men, to charge, to scream, attack, to get them moving, to organize them. And then when he gets his chance to go on the comms, again, what he realizes as he hesitates at the beginning, not all of the 5,000 men that he's talking to are going to survive this. Some men are going to die. To help others, to give them hope, he does it, but he also knows, I'm not getting out of this alive. But nevertheless, he sacrifices himself to inspire, to get the right message across. The right message is, yes, you have to be ruthless. Yes, you have to take this chance right now. But also, help the people around you that are confused. Look out for one another. Do this as a team. Like all the things that he's been preserving with his group of 49 men in 5-2 day shift. He's now passing on those same ideals to the entire prison population. And it's true, we don't know what happened to Kino at the end of episode 10. But I think that's on purpose. I don't think we're going to see him again. I don't think we're going to know for sure. And for those of us who need the hope, we can dream that somehow or other he got off. Somehow or other someone helped him. A group of men helped him swim to shore. Or he found something that's a flotation device that he could use as a flotation device and doggy paddled him his way to solid land. Or we can look at his sacrifice and remember him with dignity and honor, knowing that he gave up everything to help these men reach a freedom that he knew he would never be able to reach. Mind-blowing. But the crazy thing is that's like the second most mind-blowing thing of the episode, because the most mind-blowing thing of the episode is Luthen's speech. I've made my mind a sunless space. I'm condemned to use the tools of my enemy to defeat them. He's condemned himself to that. He made that decision 15 years ago. He wrote the equation in his mind when the Empire formed. He knew he had to defeat the Empire. He had to fight against the Empire. And the only way he could do it was by being as ruthless as them, as dark as them, as cold and calculating as the Empire. That was his only chance. And he made that decision 15 years ago, and he's been living with the consequence of that ever since. He's given up all hope at inner peace, calm, kindness, kinship, love. He sacrificed all of these things. He's burned his decency for somebody else's future. He's burned his life to make a sunrise he knows he'll never see. I mean, like, this speech is just laden with banger after banger of memorable lines. What has he sacrificed? Everything. And yeah, Luthen has made this decision 15 years ago, and he's stuck with it ever since. And you know he's never going to change his mind. Nothing will stop him on this path. He does the cold calculus in his mind about sacrificing the 50 men of Krieger's raid on the power station that's about to happen versus preserving Lonnie as a mole within the ISB. And he makes that decision in an instant, and it's only 50 men, and this is what needs to be done, because you can't sacrifice that mole in the ISB. You need the information that may one day come from him. That information may make all the difference. That information may lead us to Scarif or who knows what. Really just mind-blowing stuff in last episode, and I know I'm going on longer than I normally do here, guys, but I hope, I know you all appreciate it, because I've seen everybody else's reaction to this. This show really has become something truly special, and if this is what Star Wars can achieve, then I hope the problem is it's set such a high bar now. We're going to be comparing so many other Star Wars things to Andor, because this is what's possible, but it also gives you hope, a new hope, that we can have more like this We get a second season of Andor. We get who knows what else in the future. I'm excited that a show of this quality is attached to a franchise, a fandom that I love so much. So, yes, I'm excited, and man, am I excited for this episode. Now, what's going to happen in this episode? Who knows? Story-wise, we know Andor and Melshi have reached land on Narkina 5. We don't know how many other people have made it out of the water. I assume that they've scattered in all directions rather than staying in one large mass, because that seems like it would be much easier for the Empire to track down. If everyone scatters, some men are going to be able to get off this planet. But how? What's that story? Is that a story that we're actually going to tell here, or is there going to be a time jump and we're just going to say that he has gotten off Narkina 5? Maybe. So what other stories do we have to tell? Well, we have to go back to Ferrix. We know that Bix, last we saw, was still in Dedra's custody. We know Marva's acting a little squirrely. Marva's being watched by Cinta and by somebody from the ISB, both waiting for Andor to make and reappear. What other stories? We know Mon Mothma's back on Coruscant, deciding whether she should allow her daughter to be introduced to the son of this crime lord from Chandrila, who can launder her money if she cooperates. Is she willing to do that? We know Luthen has sacrificed Krieger's team. Are we going to see that failed mission, or are we just going to hear about it? We haven't even met Krieger yet. I have a funny feeling we're never going to, or his men. It's just going to be a failed rebel assault, and it may put the ISB at ease. But is it going to make Dedra at ease? I don't think so. She seems to be the rising star within this department. Is Cyril finally going to find a way to insert him himself within the ISB? We know he's infatuated, might be the wrong word, but he's obsessed with Dedra. Maybe romantically, but definitely ideologically. He's in love with her commitment to the cause of Empire, and he shares that commitment. He's found a kindred soul. So where's that story going? Now that we know that Lonnie's a mole, how are we going to view all those scenes in the ISB in the boardroom? Are we going to see what his daily stresses are like now? Because he's just sort of been a secondary character in that room. We didn't think that anything of him until we suddenly saw him in the lower levels of Coruscant. Man, this show, I can't wait to jump into it. So let's do that now. This is episode 11 of Andor. Oh,
6 years.
We're showing a K2 droid again.
She's the reason Andor came back.
Your breathing sounds weak. The doctor was here yesterday.
This is going to be Marva's episode. Maybe.
They'll be slaughtered.
Oh. We're still on, yeah, he's still barefoot. We're still on Narkina 5.
They're leaving. Stop saying that. They're leaving. I can't climb back up. You hear me? I hear you. My hands won't work. I said, I hear you.
Come on, Melshi.
Tell me they're leaving. They're leaving. They're leaving.
Oh, man.
We'll save it for Cassian. Okay. She would have wanted it that way. It's heartbreaking. What about the droid?
Has Marva died? Everyone's here. This isn't good.
We're gonna take her out in a minute if you want to say goodbye.
Oh no. She's just died. That's it.
I'll have them clear the room.
Nothing heroic or anything.
I don't want to be alone. I want Mama Marva.
Oh. B2.
We need to pull together, B. All of us.
Oh. He's so traumatized. He's grieving. He's grieving. Oh. He's definitely emo. Wow. We didn't even see her death. She just gave up the ghost. Oh, man. Was that the ISB spy watching that we just looked over her shoulder? Yep.
Someone you know?
Just started last week.
Are these the natives of Narkina 5?
They didn't walk here. If we go around.
Where are all the others? Did anyone else make it out? It'd be kind of crazy if these are the only two that survived the...
It's a quad jumper. If we get out here, I know I feel it.
Oh boy. Okay, just sprint. Just sprint. Oh, look at them haul. They're hauling. They're not even sure. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh my god. Okay, so there's a security system.
We want a funeral.
Excuse me?
You're going to give them a permit. Keep it small. Limit the time, limit the numbers. We want to put them in a box, stand back and watch.
See who shows up. Will that not be too suspicious?
They mix your ashes with mortar and local stone dust, put your name on and fire it up. You become a block of Ferrix brick.
And then what?
They find you a wall.
Wow.
1,000 each, the upper beam. One for each of us, greedy.
1,000 each.
Prison done it. Spoil our water. All our water.
That's the Empire. We were trapped. We were trapped there.
Always the Empire here. Be alive or dead, the upper knows.
No. Let's talk. Hang on.
Scub the Empire. They not be killing ye. Nay today. Wise to be jumping quickly, though.
They're full-on pirates. Okay. Oh my god, what a rickety old trap. Oh. Is Vel allowed to be here?
We have some new pieces in.
Where is he?
She's been collecting jewelry.
I don't have time for this.
We have rules for a reason. You don't seem to understand that. You're off the rails. You're lucky he's not here.
I gave him Aldani. What have you done lately?
I don't have lately. I have always. I'm a constant blur of plates spinning and knives on the floor and...
Cassian Andor. The mother died. I'm leaving in the morning.
Well, let him know.
I love how no one trusts anyone else completely, because you wouldn't. You'd be so nervous with every rebellious action you make. This guy's ISB, I'm sure of it, right?
I am glad you're back.
Oh.
I want full coverage, spotters front and back.
Yeah, of course he's
I want to
ISB.
know immediately about any comings and goings.
Hey, time to go.
Go where?
She's not here, B. She's in the stone now.
You could stay.
Oh.
One night.
If you're having difficulty speaking, just shake your head.
Torturing Bix more? Or is she just still traumatized completely by it?
Bix, care to join me?
Oh, man.
I expect an honest answer. If I'm not sure it's the truth, I'll have to call back Dr. Gorst. Anto Krieger.
Oh, that's Krieger, okay. Does she know him?
Is this the man you introduced to Cassian Andor?
Oh, I see what
Bix.
they're trying to connect the dots. They're trying to figure out Axis still. Can she say yes? Is she gonna say yes?
Say old ways teach us?
Perrin?
No, he's strangely open-minded on this topic. It's her, it's the leader.
She wants the old ways?
She loves it. And her friends.
Huh. So she might actually be up for an arranged marriage?
Don't tell me you're taking proposals.
I'm in so much trouble, Val. I thought Tay could help me replace the credits and get me started again, but what he really did was discover just how much more trouble I was in.
And they're looking into this when?
Soon. Very soon.
Does she know where the Aldani money is? There's 80 million kicking around somewhere.
This can't be exposed.
I know that.
Which is why...
I found a solution.
How have you been?
Yeah, she's gonna do it. She's absolutely gonna do it.
Call for you.
Oh. Is Dedra calling? Who else could it be? Oh, no. It's the sergeant.
Is that you, sir? I'm calling about Andor. You wanted news if I had it.
Yes, please, go on.
The mother!
You were talking about Andor.
The mother.
Yeah, she's passed away.
Where is Andor?
Yes, that's it. He might show up at the funeral. I knew you'd want to.
He's going back to Ferrix, isn't he? Isn't he? He's going to go to Ferrix. He needs to be there. Oh, Niamos, what are we doing here? The money's here. The manifesto's here. Oh, how did he? No one took his stuff. The manifesto, his weapon. My God, no one found it. Wow, that's incredibly lucky. But after all his bad luck, he deserves one good luck moment. So the manifesto is not lost. That's awesome. Oh.
What's all this?
We're going back to Saw. I love the nearly black X-Wings.
I'll do it. Tell Krieger I'm in.
Oh, now he wants to do it.
You're too late. It's going tomorrow.
We'll be ready. We have charts. All he has to do is tell us when he wants it and agree to my terms.
He doesn't want Saw to die. He doesn't want to sacrifice more men.
I think not.
You were so eager for it.
Mm-hmm.
ISB knows Krieger's plan. They'll be waiting for it.
Oh, he's telling them.
And how do we know this?
I won't tell you that.
He doesn't know.
Wow.
How do you know I won't tell him?
I don't know what you'll do.
You're a loose cannon, Saw.
You think it's worth losing Krieger?
I did. I'm not sure right now.
And what if it was me?
Oh.
He can't hurt me.
Like I can.
Wow.
It's your decision.
You have people everywhere, don't you? Someone at ISB? Maybe there's someone here with me. Who is it? There's no way out alive. Of that you must be sure.
One way out.
Do this or listen. If I were ISB Saw, why wouldn't I just send you out there with him?
30 men.
Plus Krieger.
Except it's actually 50 men. But
for the greater good.
Call it what you will.
Call it war.
Let's call it war.
Trailer. Whew. Chills, man. Are we worried about Mum? What's he doing? Stealing her credits? And he's off to Ferrix, would be my guess.
I'm most curious about the other piece.
It's very much on the table. The negotiations are ongoing and our representatives are involved, but there's a number of other buyers on the ground, and your presence would only complicate the bidding at this point.
We need that piece. We lose that and we'll have to close shop.
There's nothing more you can do.
That's never true.
Luthen?
What just
Luthen?
happened? What just happened? Did you just get jammed, or was that something else? Yeah. Oh, jeez.
This is Alderaan 129-12505.
Stand by, Hallcraft. Run it. This is a piracy zone.
Oh, thank you for the warning. I'll be careful.
You'll be standing by, is what you'll be doing. Prepare the tractor beam.
Oh, boy.
Countermeasures charging.
Preparing to jump?
Please power down your stabilizers.
Calibrate tractor force.
Calibrating. Prepare for boarding and inspection, Hallcraft. Countermeasures armed.
What are the countermeasures? Holy shit.
What is that?
Holy crap! Jesus! He's gonna be chased by ties? Look at the damage! This is an insane ship. I want the model of this bad boy. Holy crap! Luthen! Jesus! Whoa! Whoa, 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 whoa!
Hyperspace calibration complete.
Were those... lightsaber? Were those kyber crystal powered weapons of some sort that he just did?
Where are you?
Tell Marva I'm okay. Tell her I'm thinking about her.
Don't tell him she's dead. He's gonna come home if you tell him.
I'm sorry. Your mother's dead.
He's gonna come home. Don't go home, Cassian. You can't go home. You can't go home, dude. And we're gonna run across another
Go through. It's okay.
K2SO.
Everything okay?
Okay, you know, he's smart enough.
How many do you think made it? How many of us made it out alive? Not enough. What if we're the only ones? Somebody's got to tell people what's happening down there.
Yeah.
We need to split up. Double our chances. One of us has to make it.
Okay.
People have to know what's going on.
How much does this remind you of looking out to sea on Scarif at the very end of Rogue One? Man, this show, it's so good, and I think I figured out why, at least on one level. We consume so much story. We read, we watch TV and movies, we play video games. We absorb so much story in our lives that we recognize the patterns. We know where stories are going, where they're supposed to go. And stories tend to simplify. They tend to streamline the plot for convenience sake, for brevity, for simpler storytelling that appeals to a broader audience, I think. It's easier to have a strong message in a story if it's a simple story. That doesn't mean it can't be well told. It doesn't mean it can't be a brilliant story. It just means it's simple, it's straightforward. But this show is not doing that. This show is pursuing complexity and reality and truth. Genuine truth. Not what we wish were true, but what's actually true. And you know, look at a character like Marva. You meet this tough as nails older woman who refuses to leave Ferrix because she hates the Empire, and in 99 stories out of 100 she becomes this the leader of a rebel cell. Her pluck, her determination, all of these things inspire those around her. And I thought we were going there. You know, she was like scouting the tunnels under the hotel. She was figuring out how to engineer a raid against the local Imperials. All of this. But somewhere along the way, she just dies. She stops taking her medication and she dies. Off camera. We don't even get her farewell scene. All we get is her grieving droid who can't even bring itself to leave the home that she died in. There's no grand purpose in Marva's life, at least nothing that's been revealed yet. I mean, sure, she certainly raised Cassian into the man that he is, but your typical story, your typical Star Wars story would have made her, you know, one of the founders of the Ferrix rebel cell, and that just hasn't happened. She's just died. The Empire remains in control on Ferrix. They still have Bix. They're still questioning her. We have Bix in custody, and they bring her in for another round of questioning. They show us this picture of Anton Krieger. Is this the man that came to see Andor? They want to know if maybe Krieger is Axis. And if she lies, if they know she isn't telling the truth, they're going to have to call Dr. Gorst back. And we know what that must have done to her. We've seen the results of just a single, hopefully just a single treatment of Gorst's sonic torture. In 99 stories out of 100, Bix would do the noble thing and maybe lie. Maybe say Bix, maybe say Krieger is Axis. Except it's not that simple. Like, sure, that sends the ISB off track, but what does it do to this man Krieger? For all she knows, he's completely innocent. Like, why would she pin that aggression onto him? Just to save Cassian? Just to save Luthen? I don't know. We could have easily picked up Cassian Emilshi off-world, off of Narkina 5. But I'm really glad that we spent a little time with them, hiding from the patrols, being captured by local fishermen before the fishermen letting them go and offering them a trip off planet, because the fishermen hate the Empire too. Cassian's story this episode is actually the luckiest, perhaps the least believable, because yes, he finds this generous ride off planet. He goes back to Niamos, Space Cancun, and finds his hotel room and the case he left there with all his share of the credits and his weapon and Nemec's manifesto. It's all still there. No one's found it in the weeks and weeks and weeks he's been gone. So doubly lucky. And in most stories, you go that's too much. That's too lucky for him. That A, he got off planet. B, he gets his stuff back. But Cassian's life has been so shit. He's had so much bad luck over his lives that sometimes the universe needs to course correct a little bit. And sometimes characters deserve a bit of luck. He's earned it. Is kind of what I'm saying. But then this show comes back, and as soon as he's earned these lucky things, he also finds out that his mother's died. That Marva's dead. And so next episode's going to be about Marva's funeral. Dedra has told the local ISB agents to grant the permit for Marva's funeral. She's going to be turned into brick. She's a citizen of some standing on Ferrix, so a lot of people will want to pay their respects. Who's going to be there? Who's going to be watching? Will Cassian decide to go and say goodbye, or does he know better? I hope he knows better, but it feels like he's going to go. But Cinta's going to be there, and Vel's going to go there. The ISB is going to be watching, and it looks like Cyril's potentially going there. He just stole money from his mom, and he got the news from his old sergeant from back in episodes 2 and 3. about the death of Marva. So you have to think that Cyril's going. So Cyril's going to cross paths with... Is Dedra going to be there, or is she just going to wait for the report? I think she'll want to be local. She may not make herself visible, but she's going to see camera angles of this funeral, and she's going to spot Cyril, if nothing else. Is she going to think Cyril is actually a rebel? That he's a rebel plant? Or is she just going to be impressed by his persistence? And Luthen's ship. Well, let's save Luthen's ship for a minute, because Luthen goes to see Saw, and Saw has changed his mind. He's willing to work with Krieger now. He sees too many benefits. He can raid this thing and that thing, and he can get this equipment from Luthen. And Luthen doesn't want him to go. And Luthen actually tells him, no, the ISB knows about the raid, and you shouldn't go. I don't want to lose you as well. So this is the moment where we sort of prove that, yeah, Luthen's got a heart. And he will save lives when he can. And it isn't tactical to sacrifice them. Just in case we needed the clarification after last episode, where he was quick to say, yeah, you know what, Krieger and his 50 men, we have to sacrifice them to preserve Lonnie's secret. Of course, he tells Saw it's only 30 men, so he's still couching it. He tells no one all the truth, and he's so good at lying. He's had 15 years of practice. I don't think he's had a completely open conversation with anybody. He compartmentalizes everything. He only shares partial truths. It's all need to know. Maybe Clea has the closest thing to unfettered access to Luthen's thoughts, but Luthen knows the less he tells his accomplices, the safer everybody is. And even following all these safety precautions and everything else, sometimes an Imperial ship will put you in its tractor beam and announce that they're going to board you for an inspection. And then, holy crap, Luthen's ship fires the flak weapons, basically, destroys this massive communication satellite, the tractor beam. We escape. We've got super powerful targeting lasers that take out a bunch of TIE fighters all at once. And then the ship does this crazy thing where it basically sticks two massive lightsabers out of its side, one out of each side, and it slices the last two TIE fighters in half that way. I think that's what we saw. It sounded like it's a lightsaber ship. It's a mini, like it's a giant lightsaber, or a super mini Death Star type ray. We know he's got access to kyber crystals. How does a ship like this surprise the Empire? Like, is it all custom? Is it all black market? I don't know. It feels like if you had a Lamborghini or something, and it just suddenly starts firing lasers on the street. Anyway, in a weird way, this is a catching our breath episode, and we deserve it after last episode. Last episode was so intense, so powerful, so emotionally draining that we needed to sort of catch our breaths and figure out what's going to happen next. And that by no means nothing happened in this episode. Like, oh, I haven't even spoken about Mon Mothma and her daughter. Her daughter's actually interested in pursuing the old ways, because this is how she rebels against her mom. Her mom's a progressive. Her mom wants to get rid of the old ways. I'm gonna rebel against that, and I'm gonna be for them. But she doesn't realize that that's falling right into the trap of this 14-year-old boy that the thug is offering up, Davo, because Davo wants the status and the validation that marrying into the Mothma family would presumably give his clan. And it looks by the end of that story within this episode that Mon Mothma's decided that's what she has to do. She spells out all the troubles she's in with Vel, and there is a way out, and the only way out is betrothing her daughter to this thug's son. Assuming Davo can do what he says he can do, that will solve her problems. Clea didn't tell Luthen about Marva's death. I mean, obviously they were speaking in code about the item falling into other collectors' hands, and I'm pretty sure the item in question is Cassian, but I didn't sense anything in that coded conversation that would have meant that Marva was dead. But they were also interrupted by this Imperial vessel. So once Luthen's escaped and he can have that conversation, is he going to go back to Ferrix? Like, I feel like this whole season is going to culminate with most of our main characters back on Ferrix. And the main question is Cassian going to be one of them? He and Melshi have gone their separate ways. Melshi's idea is the right one. We need to get this message out, and the best way to do that is to split up and double our chances. That's smart thinking. So when do we reunite with Melshi? Who knows? Sometime next season, I suppose. But I do wonder, now that Cassian is alone again, whether he will make what his next decision is. It should be to reach out to Vel or Luthen and reestablish contact with the rebellion. But it might well be going back to Ferrix to say goodbye to his mother. And if he goes back to Ferrix and finds out about his mother, is he going to be cool with Bix being imprisoned? Will he want to do something about that? I really do wonder what the tone of next step, how are we going to end off next episode? How are we going to finish season 1? Are we going to finish on a high, or are we going to finish on a low? Because that's how these things typically go. Either we're at a high, which means things will fall apart to start next season, or we start at a low and next season we have to start digging ourselves out of that hole. But which way we finish, I couldn't tell you. I'd like to think we finish the season with Cassian properly attached to the rebellion. Whether he reunites with Luthen, or with Vel, or Citra, or I don't know. But I feel like he needs to dedicate himself to the cause. And it would make sense to do it, have that be the season finale, him dedicating himself to the cause. He's got the manifesto again. Is he going to give that a read on his way back to Ferrix? Is he going to find his inspiration in Nemik's words? I don't know, but I can't wait for next week, guys. It's a shame it's so cool that there have been 12 episodes of this show, that there will be 12 episodes. It's longer than your typical Disney Plus streaming option, but I'm gonna have to wait a year for more, and that's hard. I don't want to wait longer. I feel like I'm talking like B2 emo. The show's so good. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this episode and the show up till now, guys. How do you think the season's going to end? What are you most looking forward to next episode? Do you think Cassian's going to go to his mother's funeral, or do you think he's going to be smart enough to stay away? Yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really does help me with the algorithm and all of the YouTube number thingies that control my destiny. And until next week, everybody, take care, stay healthy, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.